Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Trey Gowdy and it's Sunday night in America. Our military and especially our pilots did a tremendous job fighting the Houthis, who are just lackeys for the Iranians. They protected shipping routes and sent a clear message that if you shoot at our sailors, fire will rain down from the heavens. And the attention should be on emerging threats. That's why intelligence officials appeared on Capitol Hill. But those stories are taking a back seat to an encrypted app called Signal.
The conversation was candid and sensitive, but as the President National Security Advisor stated, no classified information was shared.
As a result of that article that were intimating that I transmitted classified information because there were hidden messages, I did not transmit classified information.
Do you trust Jeffrey Goldberg, who is a registered Democrat and an anti-Trump sensationalist reporter?
Nobody's texting war plans. There's no units, no locations, no routes, no flight paths, no sources, no methods, no classified information.
There was no harm done because the attack was unbelievably successful. Look, it's all a witch hunt.
What was done by whom and why, those are fair questions, but we don't have guilt by proximity in court or in life, just in politics. Everyone did not add a reporter to a text. Everyone did not disseminate information. Mistakes were conceded, corrective actions were taken, but the politics remains. Americans value fairness and they despise hypocrisy. It's a little rich for Hillary Clinton to be lecturing others on handling sensitive information. The opinion which really matters belongs to the commander-in-chief, and he may not be pleased because the story detracted from a military success. But there's a difference between saying do better and you're fired. Cliff Simmons was Deputy Director of National Intelligence under President Trump in his first term, and he joins us now. Thank you for joining us, Cliff. First, let our viewers know who determines what's classified. Can the president himself or an agency head declassify information? How does that work?
So like everything in the executive branch, Trey, all power flows down from the president. So he is the ultimate classification and declassification authority. So when the president came out and said there was no classified information in this Signal thread, the conversation really stops there. He can also and does delegate some of that authority to other so-called original classification authorities in the government. This would include the CIA director, the Secretary of Defense, the DNI, the National Security Advisor, and they can exercise some of those authorities on his behalf. But again, he is the ultimate classification and declassification authority. His word is the final word on these issues.
All right, Cliff, you and I have both been around. You mentioned the CIA director. We've been around John Ratcliffe a lot in life. Never once has he discussed a matter I wasn't entitled to hear. Now, I don't mean with a lot of people around. I mean riding together in a pickup truck. Not once has he been indiscriminate with national secrets. This was a Department of Defense information, if you will. So how does the CIA director decide what defense material is classified? I mean, how is proximity the same as guilt?
Well, the CIA doesn't have any authority over defense national security information, as you said. But I think this whole thing about John Ratcliffe getting drawn into it just shows what a political witch hunt this whole thing really has been from the beginning. Let's think about the fact that Jeffrey Goldberg held back text messages that were John Ratcliffe in that Signal thread saying that they talked about, oh my gosh, if I release this, it would be so damaging to national security. It was talking about intelligence operations. Well, then he gets called out on it. He has to actually release what's the content of those texts. And it was so innocuous that even Democrats questioning him on Capitol Hill didn't bother to bring it up to him. So the whole thing from the beginning has been all about politics. Let's remember here, Trey, this thread started 2 weeks before he released them, and he just so happened to release this story about a day before the DNI, the CIA director, and the FBI director were going to go before Democrats on Capitol Hill to be questioned in the annual threat assessment hearing. So the timing of it was all political. The reporter behind this is all political. He's got a long history of this kind of thing. All of this did distract ultimately from what you nailed it in the lead-in, a successful operation that did something that the Biden administration did not do, which is start reinstalling freedom of navigation in an area of the world that the Biden administration allowed the Houthis to run absolutely wild in. And that operation has been successful from the very beginning.
All right, Cliff, you put your finger on what this committee hearing was supposed to be about, what I call emerging threats or worldwide threats, not whether colleagues drink or not. So what would our intelligence officials have discussed on worldwide threats had that matter even bothered to come up?
Well, there are a couple of things I would point to specifically, but the heart of all of it is that if you read this annual threat assessment, which talks about the dangers that the United States faces around the world, you will see that the Trump foreign policy has been spot on. And I'd point to a couple examples of that. One of the things it talks about is how over the last 4 years when the Biden administration was in office, transnational criminal organizations, the cartels and others have been running absolutely wild. That has been a major, major threat to U.S. national security. We've seen that play out across our streets around this country with fentanyl flooding our streets, with violence flooding our streets. The president was on top of this from day one, even in his first term. Reinstalling order at the border is something that we would have heard a lot about in that threat assessment hearing if Democrats had been focused on the right things. Number two, the long-term threat remains China. This is something the president ran on going all the way back in 2015 and 2016, confronting the threat of a rising China. One of the really disturbing things, Trey, that I would point to is when I was in the Office of the Director of National Intelligence 4 years ago, a lot of these technologies that are going to define the future of U.S. and global security, China was not a near-peer competitor, certainly not a peer competitor. And one of the things that I have seen now is that they are becoming a near-peer competitor, a peer competitor, and in some instances have actually gone beyond U.S. capabilities in some of the most important national security technologies and domains of the future. That's what the annual threat assessment was talking about, and it again shows the president's focus is exactly where it should be, and his policies are spot on to address these threats.
All right, Cliff, before I let you go, President Trump and President Stubb from Finland, they really hit it off well this weekend. President Trump gifted President Stubb a fantastic set of golf clubs, and it seems like Europe both wants the U.S. to lead, but also recognizes the need for them to do more. I was really encouraged seeing these two world leaders interact with one another.
Yeah, and I think, you know, going back to the Houthi strikes, one of the things that that we've got to remember is the Suez Canal, where they're trying to free up freedom of navigation there. A tiny fraction of U.S. commerce flows through that area. A massive chunk of European commerce flows through that area. So again, the U.S. is having to step up here, and Trump continues saying, J.D. Vance continues saying, guys, you got to come to the table. We've got to be real partners here. You're not a vassal state of the United States. You are a partner of ours here, and in being a partner, you have got to step up and spend more on defense. You got to get a little bit more skin in the game. And so I am encouraged, as you are, that more and more European leaders are seeing that the administration is serious about that and are starting to take some steps to increase defense spending and get a seat at the table with their peers.
Cliff Sims, thank you for your previous service to our country. I hope that that is not over, and I thank you for joining us on a Sunday night, loaning us your expertise.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.